We are up to the pay Amid Allah. The last thing we learned was that we rely on the assumption that if the little kids, the toddlers, are hanging on the purse strings of their mother, on the apron strings of their mother, that's a telltale sign that they are the children of that woman. The question is, how far do you take this chazak with this assumption? The very bottom of the page, Ein Tesel Beis. Amar Reish Lakish says Reish Lakish, Leishanu el bekotcha gvul. That's only talking about when we talk about truma. Ava b'yuchsin. In fact, we had in Mark the whole argument: are you mile from truma to yuchsin? But he says here that this chazak is strong enough to allow this person to give them truma and so on and so forth. That they can, if a man is a kohen, he can feed his kids truma, but not regarding yuchsin that these kids can, or this girl, let's say, can automatically marry kohen. You got to do more investigations. But and make sure they're halal and so on. No, we take the chazak even further, all the way to yuchsin. So the question
mean that if the
there's a girl, no. If there's a girl, that's what actually Rabbi Tam said a few days ago. But generally speaking, if there's a girl there, can she marry a kohen? Or do we say maybe it's halal? You have to check it out. Yeah. That we'll soon see what the example is. That if we have an assumption, it's so strong, it's so solid that we can give him malchus that as well. Same thing, we're going to stone somebody for giving a sin or burns. I will say in a minute, based on an assumption, on chazaka. And then but Rabbi Yechon says, but ain't soif in truma chazaka. But chazaka is not strong enough to burn truma already. You're not allowed to burn kachim truma unless you have to, unless it's 100% tamei. Chazaka is not that is not like 100% when it comes to truma. Malkin al chazaka. What's the case? Who's going to do? Let's say that this woman dresses in a way that are usually a nida only dresses, and so people assume that she's a nida. Then we're aiding that the husband had relations with her. Then by the husband will get malchus because of nida. The Rishonim have a big argument here. It says the husband gets malchus. What about her? Why doesn't she get malchus? Does that mean that she doesn't get malchus, or that means she definitely gets malchus? The chiddush that he gets malchus because she's the one who put on the clothes of the nida. So she's the one who's professing to say I'm a nida. So therefore, she for sure gets malchus. The chiddush is that even he will get schlepped into what she does. That's the chiddush. And others say no, that she doesn't. Only he, that he did the act. Seiklin v'seifin ala chazakas. What do you mean you stone and you burn on the chazaka? A family comes in, a man and a wife, a bunch of kids. And we don't know who they came in the neighborhood, but we see them behave like a family. If later on this son has relations with his mother, then we will stone them based on just the behavior. We have no evidence. Exactly. No, but chazaka. And then if the father has relations with his daughter, they get burned. That's what happens. You get burned based on a chazaka. There's a story. A woman, she brought this kid on her shoulder, like a mother does. Big deal. She raised him in the house. Later on, they had relations. They brought him to Bezin and they were stoned. Not because we know for a fact. We have no evidence. Because what? That she was. So what do we see from all of this? That chazakas are very strong. And hence, Rabbi Yechon says that even yuchsin we're going to rely on it. Not like the shlokish that says we're not going to rely on it for yuchsin. What was the last one? But the ein soid fin truma chazaka. It comes to burning truma. Chazaka is not strong enough. The Torah says you're not allowed to burn truma stam. So therefore, the chazaka is not going to be strong enough. What's the story? He holds that very interesting. When it comes to the chazaka he says it only helps with truma, but not for yuchsin. Note by the shlok, yuchsin is the highest level, and chazaka is good enough. But coming to burn truma, he says chazaka is strong enough. Rabbi Yochanan says when it comes to yuchsin, yeah, chazaka is good enough. We're going to rely on that for yuchsin. So yuchsin is not the highest level. Burning truma, that's the highest level. We're not going to do that based on the chazaka. Very interesting. And what this what exactly that is, we don't know. Why the Shlokish puts yuchsin as the highest, pinnacle, the highest level, and Rabbi Yochanan says no, burning truma is the highest level. Chazaka is not 100%. It's mistama, a very strong probability. As you know, the famous says that Roiv is not vaday in the Bava Beis learned by Mitzvah. That Roiv is not a vaday. It's probably, but probably is good enough. And what's Rabbi Yechon says, ain't surfing. Rabbi Yechon says you don't burn, but they're consistent with their view. Now, we look at the Mishnah. He found a little kid playing next to a piece of dough, and there's a piece of that dough in his hand. Now, so the question is the kid Tameh? He definitely touched the dough. I'm learning now like Rashi learns. He definitely touched the dough because he has a piece of dough in his hand. But we're not 100% sure the kid is Tameh. But the Roiv kids are Tameh because they play in the dirt. Exactly. A mayor says Matayah. The mayor says Matayah, and Chachamim Mitame. Chachamim say Tameh. Why? There's a dark kid plays around with the dirt and there's a piece of shrots in there. So the kid is probably Tameh, and the kid is probably Tameh. It says Mitamin. You're Mitame. And the question is, how strong is this Matame? That means 100% that this is Tameh and you burn it. Which is what Reish Lakish says. Or Matame means we treat like a suffix tumah, and therefore it's toiling. You leave it in suspense. You don't burn it. It's Abiyach. First of all, Bavina, by my time, what's the possible logic into the mayor? Why does he say that it's toir? He says that the Rav Taka play around. Of meat, aim at tapkin. And remember, mayor chayish mutus. So him meat is significant. Okay, but this is lekula, not lechumra. The Isa becheskes tara. You also have here a cheskes tara. The dough till the kid played with it, the toe was tired. You take the chazaka, exactly. You combine the two. So chazaka, the way you're learning is like 50-50. You take the meat, maybe it's 1%, but 51, it tips the scale. This might be the chazaka. Each leru weaken the rubber. So, and the Rabbanim, miyute command less than me. The Rabbanim say, once we follow the Rav, there is no miyut over here. And like the Teresa Chaysh's brother, has a long thing in the back. If you have 3 judges and 2 judges say chai, 1 judge says pater, it's not pshat is you have 2 against 1. And the thing is that the 1 judge is not allowed to say, I was really in your favor. It's much more than just you're not allowed to say the because lashon hara. It's because it's not true anymore. Because the moment 2 dayanim paskin chayiv and 1 dayan paskin pater, the halacha is chayiv, which means the miyut now becomes part of the right. It's bottled. So it's the Bezin's stempel that says that he is chayiv.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So he can't go around saying I'm the one. It doesn't matter. It's the outcome. So no, the miyut disappears, and that's what it sounds from the Rabban here. About the Rabban miyut, command the less than me. There's no miyut anymore. Now that's how Rashi learns. Tosfos learns that no, every kid is 100% tamei, and he brings it to Sefta because mothers used to kiss their kids all the time, and a lot of times they were niddah b'shas ma'aser, and the kid never was courage. So definitely, a kid is 100% tamei. The suffix is, how did the dough get into his hand? Did he pull it out himself, or did somebody give it to him? That's the suffix. But the outcome is the same. Tosfos wants to know, from other Gemaras, it seems that you take the meat and the chazaka and you put it against the Rav, it's only 50-50. Here we're saying that you take the meat and chazaka, it becomes 51-49. So Tosfos says there are degrees, there are levels of Rav. There are levels of Rav. And there are stronger Ravs and there are weaker Ravs. And the Rav over here is a strong Rav. And therefore, what do you call it? Sorry, the Rav over here is a weaker Rav, and therefore take the miyut and the chazaka, it tips 51%. In other places we have a very strong Rav, it's different. And other Shem say it's different. They say when the miyut actually takes away from the Rav. For example, we say most women give for pregnant. Somebody Yavam holding, but most women fall pregnant, and some women don't fall pregnant. And even those who fall pregnant, sometimes they miscarry. So it says the Ritva, where the miyut takes away from the Rav, the Rav, most women get pregnant. But within them, most women get pregnant, some of them miscarry. So the miyut is reducing the Rav. Then we say that the miyut and the chalak may be stronger. Where the Rav and the miyut are not canceling each other out, then the Rav is much stronger because it's a full Rav, and then chalak is only 50-50. Anyway, let's go back to and the Ruba, the Chazaka Ruba Adif. If you have a Rav versus Chazaka, Rav is better. Actually, the Gemara Babas has a whole discussion, Machlekes there, which is stronger, Rav or Chazaka. The Gemara Chulna Firal, we're going to learn how do you know Rav, how do you know Chazaka. What's the logic? Why is Rav stronger than Chazaka? So the Achrei want to say, Rav is a beater. Probability. Chazaka says we don't know what the story is, leave things the way they are. So Chazaka is like a Gzeir Sakasa. Status quo. Which means what? Just because yesterday was that way means today is that way. You don't know. Because we don't know, why change? That's not a beater. That's called a Rav is a beater. Rav is a logical thing. In majority of cases, this happens, in all probability, what do you think actuaries do all the time? They follow the laws of probability. Probability is a logical thing. Mashenkein, this Chazak is not a logical thing. Why should you go? As I is this Chazak, we don't know what to do. So and that's why Rav is stronger than Chazak. And that's why others say chazaka is stronger because they say that there's a cause is stronger than a logical thing, and that itself is the machlekes. Omid is lakish.
Chazaka has a wife because wife times things stay
Sometimes we use the word chazaka, we actually mean roiv, and sometimes, for example, we say, "How do you know your father's your father?" You might want to so we the roiv. But in other places, in Sham, other places, they use that as an ayah chazaka works. The chazaka is that the bila came from the husband. So sometimes they overlap. It's very nebulous, the difference between the roiv and chazaka, like that case right there. The chazaka that came from the father, or the roiv bila zachrabal. The Shlaka says that when he said metamin, you see clearly that what you burn the truma, right? That you burn truma based on the chazaka. And the Rebbe is like, "Ain't you chazaka? You don't burn it. You don't burn it. It's a suffix." If Rabbi Yechon used the expression, this is not the case we burn the truma. So which case do we? Which case do you burn it? Because now we learn. You have dough in your house. The shiratzim, the tzfardim, mitaplim sham. You have shiratzim. There are 8 shiratzim. One of them is like a cane toad, but frogs are not a sheret. So it's very similar. A tzav is very similar to a tzfardeya, but it's not the same. So in your house you have shiratzim and you have tzfardim, and then you have pieces they shed, and they shed on top of the dough. The question is, what was that? Was that from the sheretz or was that from the tzfardeya, which does not generate tumah? We found pieces. So we say as follows: most of shiratzim is tamei. If most of tzfardim, then was tamei. Follow the rave. And there Rabbi Yechanan says, you'll burn the truma. There you burn it. Now why? Why will you burn the truma? Because, as Rashi explains, there's a difference between, and big machlekes in Nachrein in Persian. There's a difference in ruba the lesser to come on and ruba the isa come on. Rashi learns that based on this Gemara, remember this Gemara here, that a ruba the isa come on is much stronger than a ruba lesser come on. Ruba the lesser come on means a general rule. Kids become tameh. They play in the dirt. We don't know if this kid plays in the dirt or not. It's a general rule. That's called an algemeen. That's called a ruba the lesser come on. A ruba the lesser come on is what do you call it? Is not so strong, because we don't know exactly in this case.
There's a lot of assumptions going on.
Ruba the isa come on is in this house. The majority of the creepy crawlies are shratzim, so it's a ruba d'isa come on. That's much stronger, and that kind of rave we're gonna burn. So that's how Rashi is talking about it. Others actually learn fakert, not more about bechal. They learn that ruba d'isa come on is much weaker than ruba d'isa come on. You know why? Because every ruba d'isa come on has a miyat d'isa come on. The meat is right here. So you have some grounds to say that maybe it wasn't from the rave, maybe it's from the miyat. Masha'enkein a miyat d'isa come on. There's no miyat here. Some people out there, they don't play with the dirt, but the meat is not here, so there's nothing contradicting to say that let's rely on the raiv. So they say rulas come on is much stronger than the rulas that come on. Big machlekes. Anyway, but actually I'm chatting about it here. Clearly, at least according to Rabbi Yechanan, ruba de isa come on is much stronger than ruba de lesa come on. And by dayanim, it's a ruba de isa come on, and we see over there that the 2 become 3. Taking about it further, Tani was Rabbi Yechanan. That 2 things. Remember, we learned the whole din of something to we learned from Saita. Right? We assume that the worst and so on and so forth. But she's in a Shus Yachid, so we say that only a Safik to Shus Yachid we're machmir, but a Safik to Shus Rabin we're makel. But one thing about her we know is that you can ask her. You can ask her. So we learn from there that when do we say a Safik Tumah L'chumra, if you're able to ask them what happened. But over here in the case of a kid, who are you going to ask? In the case of the others like Shlotzim, who are you going to ask? So the Gemara says in the Braisa, Shnei Dvarim Eiman Dazor, we don't want to ask, and yet we will machmir as if it's Safik Tumah. The case of a kid. See if you hear clearly the case of a kid is like Kimishi yes by das like a site. It's only a suffix. Not like the Shlaki that says we're going to burn the truma. Like the Vadai Tame, here we're saying clearly it's only like a suffix, like a site. It's only a suffix. One other case. Tinigo Damran, what's the other case? My each of the Chabayis, you have a dough in your house, but Tanagoy the Mashkin Tmeim Sham. There's hens and roosters, whatever, chickens are running around. So they definitely touched it, but they're not matami, but they had liquid coming from their mouth, running from their mouth. And into the kudim be easy. He found full of their finger marks, the claws inside the dough. Is toiling la'oichel. It's only a suffix. It's only a suffix. We're not sure if we're talking about the dough is truma, and we're not sure that what kind of liquids is running out of the mouth of this tarnagel. Right? Was it there? And it was moist. Probably landed on the isa. Was it tamdig mashkin or not? The Gemara is la'ichlin v'leishayf. it's you suspend it. Only by white mashke. I will mashke if it's red, then you can assume it's turned. Why? Because you would see visible signs of redness. We're only suspecting that maybe there's some liquid, but if it's red, you would see red marks. So anyway, what do you mean we see? But maybe it was absorbed by the dough. Maybe it was red, it was still red, white. I'm going to make be the greatest man in the dough. Rabbi Shimon heard it from his Rebbe. Or produce an explanation. Like Shana the Mashkin Tzululi doesn't mean red, white. It means if it's transparent that you should be you can actually see a reflection of yourself. Then we say. Then we say that what do you call it? That it's totally absorbed. And therefore we are machmer, no difference white or red. Avol mashkin makuri, but if it's dirty water, then you would have seen. When do we say that it's if it's transparent, that it's clear, even though it's reddish, it could be got absorbed. It would be machmer that maybe there was water there, maybe it's a tamei, and we're going to be toilet with like. But if it was thick red, you see around the place, thick red things, then if the chicken would have drank that water, it would be definitely sitting on top of the dough, some red stains or something, and therefore we can assume there's nothing that he did drink it and it's tar. Mishnah. These are the laws of the yichud. Man should not be alone with two women. And as we see why, because with two women, maybe big malchek showing you why. Rashi holds that it's possible that you'll have intimacy with both of them. So that's why you can't trust it. And according to other Rishonim is because even the other one's not going to be involved in intimacy, they're not going to talk about each other. They're not going to tell. They're going to protect each other. They have this certain camaraderie. They're going to protect each other. Ma'inaf kamina. What happens more than two women? Can a man be miyached with 3 women, 10 women? According to Rashi, the voters are going to have intimacy with all them. No, you don't have intimacy with. But according to the other Rishonim, that the thing is that they're going to protect each other. There's a certain, girls' club, then it'll be the same thing. But one woman could be 2 men because they won't perform great ashland. They'd be embarrassed for each other to go ahead and have relations with her. Rav Shimon says, even 1 man with 2 women can. When? At full stop. He holds 1 man can with 2 women. Second thing is, when his wife is with him, according to some, like 2 different things, some is the same. When his wife is with him, it doesn't matter if he's with other women because he's always scared that his wife will, he has certain fear that his wife will find out, so therefore he'll behave himself. The Yoshini Moim Bepundiki he can even sleep with them in the same hotel. His wife will take care of him. The man can be clear with his mother, with his daughter. And the Yoshini Moim Bekir Basar can even we'll see later how young child can even sleep with Bekir Basar, a girl with a father, a son with a mother. But the Mikdila, once they grow up, we'll see later what age growing up is. They both sleep with their clothes on. According to one opinion, even fremde people are allowed to sleep next to each other with their clothes on. Obviously, the mission is a bit difficult according to them. What's the chiddush then about? Unless the chiddush is not that they can, the chiddush is that they can't anymore without their clothes on. Okay. Also, there's a big machlekes. What about a granddaughter? We're saying here that a father with a daughter, but a father and a granddaughter is the same. Had to apply not. And think about it, my time, but what's still going to man? Ton of video. Because Noshim died in college, therefore they're not embarrassed to have intimacy with ashlands in front of each other. In fact, they're both joined in, or they're not embarrassed to intimacy, and they know that nobody's going to be saying. Even though we learned more just a few days ago that if there's ever a fight between 2 women, they're going to scream out, "I know you committed adultery," and now you know why they'll know that because they're usually together in Misham Chnisht. How do you know the whole din of yichud? Big machlek is showing whether yichud is us by a married woman. Is it us mahatayda? Is it or is it only a remez mahatayda? Now many poskim hold that us mahatayda. Taisha another hold mahatayda. Other hold that mahatayda. And David and El came along and asked for a penuya after the story of Amnon and Tamar, and Beis Hillel and Beishamai, Hillel and Shammai, they came along and asked with a goy as well. So what's the pasuk? When your brother wants to seduce you to do avodah zarah, beni mecha, the son of your mother. What do you have to mention, son of your mother? If you share a mother, he'll try to seduce you, and if you share a father, you won't. Tell you, by the way, a son is close to the mother, so close that they can even sleep. They can be in the same bed together. But any other you're not allowed to be yachid. The chiddush is ben imcha, that a ben is very, very close to his mother, but not with any other. So you want to Pasuk Mike said, okay, that's a drush, that's a remez. What's Pashup Shat in the Pasuk? Definitely don't listen to the son that you share father, because the son he hates you. He's giving you bad. You know why he hates you? But you know why he hates you? Because you're going to take away half of his Yerusha. The eyes hates it, and therefore he gives you all these bad advice because he wants to ruin your life. I love you, but aim. He doesn't hate you because he doesn't have a ched Yerusha. Aim at size, maybe you should listen to advice. Kamashlan, they said, don't listen. Even Ben Imcha, he don't listen to his advice if it's bad for you. Name him as this is like Abishol. Al Mishnah is not agree with Abishol. The time we learn Kosh Leishim Yaim, it says that you're saying that Amish that a man should not be alone with two women. The Abishol said if you have a child that never passed away, a cut death or within the first 30 days of birth, you don't need to make a whole levaya. 3 people is enough because you need a levaya berabim. 3 is enough, and you don't even need 3 men or 3 women. You can have a mixture of the two because it's a real rabim. You don't have to have a proper bed, a proper coffin. You can even put him in your bosom. The nikver and gets buried. One woman and 2 men. But not 1 man and 2 women. But Abishol disagrees. He says he says even 1 man and 2 women can. Clearly, he argues on Mishnah. Says the Gemara, I feel tame Abishol. No, that's different. B'shas Aninus Tavi Yitzed. They talk about Levaya. Yet we had the Gemara. We had Gemara as well. We'll have that. By a levaya, the men and women have to have a circle there. The end of the circle, we have to keep separate because the malach hamav, the sultan is there and he's trying to. So I guess when it comes to friended people who attend the levaya, you be very careful. Men separate, the master and the women separate. Here we're talking about the people themselves who may be family, the ones who are actually in a state of aninus. So they have no yitzhahara. But Rabbi said, it says in Pasuk, Ma'is Oinen, just because you're an Oinen, Odom Chai, as long as you're alive, you need to constantly be vigilant about the Yitzhara. Even while you're in a state of Aninus, the Yitzhara can get to you. So they hold that, no, even in Aninus, you can still do an Aveda. That's why only one, you should not have 1 man and 2 women. Meanwhile, you're Oinen, the Yitzhara tries to overwhelm you. Rabbi Shol says no. While you're broken, that's talking about somebody who has kindness to the Eibishter. Why are these terrible things happen to me? What are you going complaining about something terrible happened to you? Are you a person that you don't sin? Be happy that you're alive. You woke up in the morning, you said, Moidani, I'd be alive. So because something happened that you don't agree with, therefore you have kindness in the Ben Shalom. Amazing, mother. And Rabbanon, who Maisa, Rabbanon said you're right, but there's a story. Even you're right that we break the taka of the Yitzhahara, and the pasuk means what you're saying here. But the reason why we don't want to have 1 man and 2 women, the Maisa he eats it. There's a story there where Rashi learns that this woman they feigned as if a child had died, so that these 2 women can have an excuse to be out alone somewhere with this man, and they all had intimate relations. So that's why we want. You know what? It should never happen that you should allow 1 man and 2 women. However, Rashi learns the second shot that this is Abba Shol talking, and he said there was a story in Marmar Cotton. Remember about a woman that was very. No, that's something else. That's Rashi, not Rashi. But this woman in this Abba Shol, this woman complained to Abishter about different tzaddis, and every time she complained, another child of her died. They told her to stop complaining. Eventually, they all died, including herself. Taisus brings a story, a fascinating story. He brings a story about this woman who went out alone, and about her husband. She was all distraught and everything else. And there was a shamer there because the king hanged somebody, and he hired a guard to watch that person's body hang the tree. He wanted to just hang in the tree for a long time. And since they're out in the field alone, this woman, so she had relations. This guy, shamer, seduced her, whatever it is, they had relations. And then when they finished the relation, they came back to the tree. The body was gone. So the woman said, "No worries, take my husband. Let's hang him up. No one knows the difference. They don't care. They look at the face, and so on and so forth." That means, and what does that prove? That even though she's an Einar, her husband just died. She had a Yetzirah. Look at the Gemara, pretty extraordinary story. That the Gemara, but 1 woman and 2 men is all right. Only men that are good. People who are promiscuous. Even 10 men. Because Habi is what you were saying. There was a story about you. 10 men took out 1 woman out in the field, and they all had relations. I'll prove it to you. That's possible. 10 men to join for Aveda. You have 10 people join together, but gone make sure they steal a beam, such a heavy beam. You need 10 people to carry it. You're not even embarrassed. We're talking about a special kind of person. Name him Sayele. I'll bring a eye from our site. Why did the husband and when they escort the husband to them and the site they bring tell to the chamin? Because maybe the husband will have relations with him and then the water will no longer be effective. It says tamid chamin. Why not stamp people? So we see clearly me. We don't trust stamp people. Says the Gemara, no, that's different. The Yoda last week, remember they have to tell him other people might think it's the husband. Why can't he have relations with her? Only time in the you know, you can give them instructions, whatever. But only time in the know that. Yeah. This that we say that a woman can be alone with two men is only in the city. Out in the middle of nowhere. You need 3 men. Now, why you need 3 men? Because Shemi is not one of them have to go, other people have to go. We can't be lahashtim because you're going to urinate even in front of people. So what's the big deal? Somebody had to go, go for other duties, and meanwhile, there'll be only 2 people left. If the 2 people there'll be only 1 person left. Who knows what's going to happen between the 2? Therefore, we need 3 people. We need to name them. Say, bring it. I am Moishe Shedechamim. They're bringing 2 the husband, 2 the 3 people there. Shemi Yolo Derech. So maybe one of them will have a relation with her. So we see you need 3 people. Today, the eel. Atlas is 3. Once again, no right from the site. We want there should be witnesses. Now what? That so the Bezin, when if there are witnesses that he had relations, they won't even bother writing the name down. Even though we don't need witnesses because the water won't be affected, but we don't want to write the Abish's name down. Because the Burka was traveling the road, because they eat a kamai, the woman walking right in front of them. Dal karich, lift your feet, run in front of the women, don't walk behind them in front of the Gehenim. Don't be seduced by the Satan. You said 2 men. Shading, we're 2 men. We're shading, it's all right. Me, shading, how do you think it means us? If you had the memo about these Amoraim, that these matronisses tried to seduce them, and one of them made all these kind of pictures, all these boils and to look ugly, and she removed them, and so on. Or the other one jumped into an oven to hide. She said, "Make me some treif to eat," and then while she was cooking, he jumped into the oven to avoid it. Those are the shading that we're talking about, not people like me and you. Big machlek is a shaynim. Is Rav being machmir, or this is actually the halacha? Somebody should know this is the halacha that 2 people, 2 men and women cannot go be together unless you're like a puppy and a kahana. And others say that this he's being machmir. Anybody's a cheskes kashas unless we know pruts, unless we know otherwise. Okay, pause for a second. Kumla Black Gemara.